Sonic 3 is now out. Is it any good? Let's talk about it.
Place what matters the most.
One hedgehog to another. Who does your highlights?
The more you talk, the harder I want to hit you.
All I gotta say is holy crap, because Sonic fans are gonna be extremely happy with this movie and they're gonna love it a lot. I'm also very happy with it, but I'm separating myself with Sonic fans because if we're talking about today's me, I'm not a huge Sonic fan. You know, I haven't touched Sonic in a long time outside of these movies, but years and years ago, I'm gonna tell you a story. When I was a kid, I was a huge Sonic fan. If these movies came out back then, I would have passed out because of how big of a Sonic fan I was. I remember watching this show that I remember its name, the Sonic X animated show. I watched it like every single Saturday, and I looked it up, getting ready for my notes for this review, and I saw the images. I'm like, oh my God, all the memories are coming back to me. I remember how cool that show was. It's like a Sonic Japanese kind of anime show. It is a really cool show. I want to see if it's streaming anywhere to go rewatch some episodes. It's so cool. There are a lot of cool characters on there. It just brings back so many memories and joy. And I remember reading some Sonic comics when I was younger, but most importantly, I had a Wii. Hopefully you guys know what a Wii console is. Hopefully you aren't that young. But I remember playing Sonic Racing, which was a fun game, Sonic Unleashed, which was great. Also, I played a little bit of that Sonic Knight game where he had a sword, pretty cool. But one of my favorite games of all time was Sonic Colors. Oh my goodness. That game was so much fun. I kind of just want to buy a Wii so I can play that game again. The Wii console was one of my favorite things I've ever had in my life. There's so many fun games to play on that, and Sonic had some of the best games. Let's just say that. I'm going to be honest here and admit the first two Sonic movies for me are fun, but just okay quality-wise, and I haven't really rewatched them since they came out in theaters. But with Sonic 3, I'm happy to say that it's the opposite. I feel like Sonic 3 is great, and I'm going to go rewatch it at least 2 or 3 more times in theaters for like a whole total number of 4. Definitely going to pick up the 4K physical copy to rewatch this multiple times, like I think a lot of other Sonic fans are going to do. It's coming around Christmas time. A lot of fans are going to go see this. You know, it's going up against Mufasa. I think Sonic is going to blow it out of the water. Its budget is looking pretty good. It's going to make so much money. I will say, Jeff Fowler, he's back in the director's chair, which is awesome because he worked on all 3 of the other ones and the Knuckles show, which was pretty forgettable in my eyes. But I'm really happy that he has get to, stick with this franchise. I hate when, creative directors of these kind of things change every single movie. I feel like it messes with the flow. When you keep the same person, I feel like it feels the same. And these ones do feel the same. But Paramount and him are really listening to us fans because they took everything out from Sonic 2 and 1 that I didn't really like, which is basically the human subplots, because I remember watching Sonic 2 in theaters, and that wedding subplot made me furious. I was like, this does not need to be in the movie. I feel like there didn't really have a scene or anything to put in that movie, so they had to put that subplot in there. It just didn't need to be in there. But Sonic 3, though, there's none of that. None of that bull crap we don't want. This here is Team Sonic at the full front position, and they're in the leads. You have the Eggman, the Eggman people in here, and Shadow as our villains, and then you have Tom and Maddie as the supporting human characters here, which is how it should be, and it worked perfectly that way. I hope they do continue it like that. Let's talk about the humor. I still think it lands here like 80% of the time, which is pretty high for me for movies like this, and it'll probably be higher than the terrible Minecraft movie coming out next year. Some of the childish jokes in here don't work, as always, but they do still cater to us adults in a great way. Some adult jokes here are pretty funny, and we did get a Tom Cruise joke, so that's pretty amazing. The action in here is also off the charts. If you thought the action in the second one was Supersonic was amazing, oh my God, just wait for this one. It is so much better. It kind of feels like you're watching a Dragon Ball kind of fight scene, but it takes place in a Sonic movie between Sonic and Shadow. It is some of the coolest stuff I've seen this year. I know there's going to be a lot of people saying, it's CGI, crap like that, but it is really awesome. Now let's talk about our characters and cast here. Of course, I have Jim Carrey returning as Robotnik, also as Grandpa Robotnik. Crazy, he plays 2 characters here. These movies wouldn't be as good as they are without Jim Carrey. I gotta say that Jim Carrey is fantastic. And I love after the second one came out, he's like, I'm retaring, but if I get a golden script, I'm returning to acting. And I guess Sonic 3 was that golden script. He is hilarious in this movie as the 2 characters. We've seen Jim Carrey better than this, but I think that this is one of Jim Carrey's best roles of all time. 3 movies now. I don't think he's ever had 3 movies playing one role. I think he's only had two movies playing the same role. Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura maybe, and then Sonic, which is 3 times. So that's awesome. Hopefully he does get to come back for another one. But he has a lot of cool moments with his grandpa in here, a lot of funny moments here. Some do get a little too far, a little too cringy, but those are for the kids. But he has a dance sequence here, which is one of my favorite parts of the movie. James Marsden, of course, gets to come back as Tom in a small role. Another very surprising character here, though, for me was Kristen Ritter as Director Rockwell. I've always loved Kristen Ritter, of course, in her work in Breaking Bad, some of the Marvel stuff. She is a great character in here. I wish we got to see a little bit more of her. Maybe she does get to come back. I love Kristen Ritter's work. I think she's a fantastic actress that deserves to be in more work. Then, of course, you have our Sonics in here. You got Tails, you got Sonic, you got Knuckles, you got Shadow. I will say, Keanu Reeves as Shadow, legendary stuff. I love this. He's so menacing. Of course, he sounds just like John Wick, but, you know, Shadow is kind of like John Wick. You know, when Sonic 2 came out, the post-credit scene came out, and Shadow came out, everyone was so surprised. Everyone was like, oh my God. I sat there being like, I don't know who this guy is, because at that time I forgot a lot about what I saw when I was a kid, but now I'm just being like, Shadow's so cool, man. Especially when he pulls out that gun, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's cool. Ben Schwartz as Sonic, of course. We wouldn't be here without him. He's fantastic. Idris Elba as Knuckles, seriously, one of the funniest characters of the year. Knuckles is hilarious. Idris Elba as Knuckles is one of the better characters in this universe. The whole cast list is just so funny, and I'm so happy that they all put so much work into this. They have so much pride for these movies. You know, some people would put it off, say these are stupid kids movies, I'm just putting in no performance, but they all seem to love these movies, and I think a lot of people do love their performances, including me. Let's talk about the post-credit scenes. No spoilers, not going to go anywhere into detail on these, so do not worry about that. But after the movie, there are 2 credit scenes, one kind of in the middle of the credits, and then one after the main credits. So stick around for the whole 15 minutes of credits, but they are legendary. Quite shocking, because one of them introduces a character I've been waiting for since the first one. That's all I'm going to say. No spoilers there, and they also just announced Sonic 4 coming out in 2026, so I'm hyped. I'm over the moon excited for what's going to happen in Sonic 4. Overall, Sonic 3 is a must-see in theaters. It's awesome and just cool as hell. It really increases the stakes and emotion and corrects many of the issues that the first 2 had. The action is super well stylized, and Keanu Reeves as Shadow is one of the best casting decisions of all time. Sonic 4 will be literally the Avengers Infinity War of the Sonic movies. That's all I'm saying. Sonic 3 gets a strong 8 out of 10 from me. If you did see Sonic 3, and I hope you did, make sure to leave your own thoughts down below. If you did enjoy this review, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Also check out my other reviews, videos. I upload 3 times a week, but that's all for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.